All right, so sadly for many, the One Piece anime is going on a 6-month break. If the manga was going on that long a break, I wouldn't know what I would do with myself. I had wanted to wait until I had watched a couple more series before making any kind of anime recommendation video because I just don't feel like I've seen enough to recommend more. But I do think I can probably give some recommendations for people looking to fill the void that One Piece is leaving behind for 6 months. The first one I'm going to recommend is based on comedy. So comedy, I gotta recommend Zatch Bell. I loved this show growing up. I clearly haven't watched it in many years, but from what I remember, the humor gave me the feel similar to how One Piece makes me feel now. The plot is pretty simple. You have a bunch of Momoto, I believe is what they're called, it's been years, that have come to our world, and they have a spell book. If you destroy the spell book, Momoto goes back to their world, and they're all fighting to become the king of this world. I believe it's held every 100 years, so the winner will determine if it's a good paradise, peaceful, or evil, depending on who's in charge. Now, the spellbook can only be read by a very specific human, and as their bond grows, as they get stronger, more spells are unleashed and unlocked, but it can take tolls on the human, so the humans are as just as big a threat to being attacked as the Momoto is, or the spellbook, because hey, if you kill the human, they can't read the spellbook, or if you destroy the spellbook, they go back to the other world. So it is very comedic. It's old classic shonen, and I do still love this and need to rewatch it because I have some very, very fond memories from it. And the villain that I remember is one of my favorite villains in anime, full stop. So I'm excited to eventually start over and reread it. If you like the mystery of One Piece and the unknown history, the obvious answer is going to be Attack on Titan, because while this series has other very strong elements that border on spoilers, so I don't want to tell you how it reminds me of One Piece in other ways, the mystery is the driving hook of the series, as you have the Titans and the mystery of where they came from, how can you defeat them, what lurks beyond the walls that humanity has trapped themselves in. It is 100% what drives this story. You're in it for the mystery. Animation is obviously gorgeous, and most people love the characters. They weren't my favorite thing, but I do come to appreciate them, and they did break my heart on more than one occasion. Another one for mystery is going to be a personal favorite, Terror in Tokyo. I do apologize for the ending. It's not where it should be. I'm a little bit disappointed in it. But the overall series, one season with the cinematic masterpiece of that of a movie throughout the entire thing, is gorgeous. You have two essentially terrorists that are wreaking havoc on Japan, and you don't know why, but then you're like, wait a minute. Are they stopping things or are they causing things? I can't give you anything without spoilers. I adore this anime though. This is the only time I will recommend that you have to watch in Japanese and not the English dubbed. Unless they changed the English dub from when I watched it, because my god, it was bad. So do sub, please. If you love One Piece because the feeling of hope that it brings, overcoming obstacles, achieving your dreams, and just fighting for what you want and believing it can be accomplished, oh, there are plenty of anime that do that. I'm going to start with Haikyuu. I binged this series. Beautiful. The movie that just came out, I've never been so happy in my life watching that. It's about volleyball. That's it. There's no other plot need to be talked about. It is just winning games, practicing techniques, believing in yourself, and believing in your dreams. How can that be entertaining for 4 seasons? It is, and it's glorious, and you will love every single character. You will cheer for them, you will cry for them, and it is wonderful. I love Haikyuu. I need to read the manga soon. Another one that is great for just hope for the future, I gotta recommend Assassination Classroom. You get therapy watching this season. I believe it's 2 seasons. Essentially, a not alien octopus looking thing has destroyed the moon and says he's going to destroy Earth in, I think it's a year. But he promises not to do it until then if he's allowed to teach this underperforming class, and he is making specific lesson plans targeted towards their individual needs, making them feel good about their self-worth, and also training them on how to kill him. And it is all about the best teacher in the world getting the most potential out of his students because he believes in them, and it is glorious. You will cry. I was trying to think of an anime that gave the same feeling of One Piece when it comes to like censorship, like government blocking ideas and saying, no, this is the truth, and they're hiding the truth. And I really couldn't think of a good example until this season of anime when I started watching Orb. I think it's the movements around the Earth, movement of Earth or something like that. Essentially, it is going from the geocentric model to the heliocentric model, where the church is saying the earth is the center of the universe because God put it there to be special, and all the planets and the sun orbit around the earth, to the idea that this is not a beautiful way for the universe to work. The math just doesn't make sense. And seeing a better one in the sun in the center and earth along with all the planets rotate around it. And the church is burning people alive for this notion, calling them heretics, hunting them down, burning their notes. Now, only the first 4 episodes are out so far, but I have high hopes for this one, because how do you do the strong emotion I felt in a certain episode, and I've only just started and have not gotten invested in these characters yet, and then they do that to me? Yeah, no, that One Piece has that in common with that as well. Make me very emotionally invested and then doing something that hurts me. So I recommend it. I really hope this recommendation stays up, because again, only 4 episodes out yet. Now, obviously, if you like One Piece, if you didn't like world building, if it wasn't important to you at the start, you came to appreciate and love it, because by God, One Piece is the master of world building. And it's hard to pick an anime that can live up to that expectation. So if you're looking for a anime with good world building on the same scale as One Piece, the only one I can recommend is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. By God, complicated worlds, culture, history. Full Metal Alchemist does everything, and does everything beautifully and perfectly. So yeah, if you haven't already watched it, my recommendation is always Full Metal Alchemist, the original one first, and Brotherhood after it. Just because Brotherhood assumes you have already watched the original 2004, I believe. But you can, if you want, just watch to a certain point of 2004 and then skip to Brotherhood. One of the things I liked about One Piece is the simple journey. We start at point A, we're trying to get to the final island, and it's just the journey to get there along the way. And if you have not watched Freerun yet, take this time as an opportunity to do so, because it is 100% the journey, not the destination, not a goal. It is just the journey one takes. So you follow Freerun, who is an elf of the original party who defeated the demon lord, evil person, saved the world. But as an elf, she doesn't appreciate time the same way others do, and she's living longer as her friends are dying, and she thinks she didn't have the time to get to know them, didn't take the time to form these memories, because to her there would always be more time, and now she's realizing they're not. So she's retracing the journey that they took together to appreciate old memories, make new ones, and have an appreciation for the human life that is so short and fleeting. And then there's an end destination in sight, but really it's the journey that makes this story so special. And I can't give recommendations about journeys without also mentioning Inuyasha. So this is my first anime that I knew was an anime, and I loved it. Straightforward story. A girl gets pulled into feudal Japan. She has the power to see the Shikon Jewel of 4 souls. It breaks into a bunch of little pieces, and they have to collect all the pieces before the big bad collects them and does very bad things. There are demons everywhere. It's about friendship. It's about hope. It's about love. I still love Inuyasha. I rewatched it in grad school, and it held up very well. The sequel does not exist. Now, I'm ashamed to say I have no good recommendations for One Piece's theme of do not trust the government, but I do have 2 recommendations anyway. Code Geass. It is a crime that I have not watched this. I'm aware of that. However, I don't like mecha. I can barely tell you what this is about because I have not watched it, but there are big robots. It has something to do with government. A kid got the power to control minds, and he's really smart. Don't tell me anything about it, because yes, I will watch it eventually, but that's my recommendation for Don't Trust the Government. I could be wrong, though. Second one is another one that I have not watched, and that's Psychopaths. I started it, said it wasn't for me, said it wasn't for me in a different video, and been told, hey, you know what, it might actually be for you, give it a few more episodes. I believe there is a gun that can tell your mental state, and if you go too far, you can get corrupted, something bad happens, something takes over, not good, so they have to be put down, but maybe the government's lying, and you can actually control your mental state, and once you pass the threshold, maybe you can go back to normal. I don't know what this show's about, but I think it has vibes of Don't Trust the Government. Back to shows that I've actually watched. If you like One Piece for the phenomenal character work, because we all do, I'm going to start with a recommendation of Apothecary Diaries. I thought this was not going to be for me. I thought this was going to be some kind of harem anime. Oh, could not be more wrong. Mao Mao is the most wonderful, well-written, hilarious, smart character. She has been kidnapped and is forced to serve in the palace, specifically with the Emperor's concubines, and all of them distinct personalities, motives, goals. They're humanized to such an extent. The longing that they have for both freedom, but respect for the position that they're in, wanting to help their families back home. There is so much about the privileged upper class. This would be good for Don't Trust the Government, probably. Upper class, how you can be taken advantage of, how easily your life can be taken away when you're in like the bottom ranks. I adore Apothecary Diaries, and I don't want to spoil anything about it, but it is just so good. She's obsessed with poison. That's her main draw in this series, and how she makes herself useful to those around her. And she uses her position to protect those that are in lower positions, and that's why we love her. Bungo Stray Dogs, obviously my favorite anime that there is, has the most wonderful characters, would die for any of them. Good guys, bad guys, doesn't matter. Bungo Stray Dogs had my favorite characters, full stop. The focus on cycles of violence and abuse. Essentially, this is a series where you have the armed detective agency. The majority of them have superpowers of some type. You have the Port Mafia. The majority of them have superpowers, and they are using it in a symbiotic-ish relationship. Sometimes they attack each other. Sometimes they're forced to work together to protect Yokohama, the town that they are all living in. And like, we can't let the town get destroyed. That's where our black market business takes place. I love this so much. And then I want to mention Noragami. It's been a while since I watched this one, but the characters, still thinking about them brings a smile to my face. The main character is like a low-ranks god, and he just wants a shrine, people to worship him, and he'll do favors, trying to get people to recognize him as a god so he can just have his own little shrine the same way that the larger deities do. And the way the gods die but can be reborn, because so long as there is faith, and how their servants enact around them. I can't remember too much about this series, and it's a shame because it needs another season. It was really good, the first 2 seasons. And all I remember is the fondness that I had for the characters. So that memory held up very well. But come on, One Piece, known for its beautiful and unique animation. I have to mention Mob Psycho 100. First of all, fantastic show message. This show will make you a better person. I'm forcing everyone I know to watch it. But the animation style, the humor, the personality, everything just comes through so strongly. As much as I would love to read the manga, the anime and animation just brings so much character to it. Mob is the sweetest boy alive, done nothing wrong in his entire life, and he just wants to improve himself emotionally and internally. It doesn't matter that he has ultimate psychic power if he doesn't have self-confidence, if he doesn't know his self-worth, if he's not strong enough to run a race. He is going to make himself better, and he's going to work hard to do it, and I love him. Then there's Reagan. Reagan has done nothing wrong in his entire life, even when he has done very bad things and made many mistakes in his life. He's a con man, but we love him. I'm also going to mention One Punch Man, even though I have not seen it yet, but I turned on an episode and there was a crab in tidy whities, and then the alternating art style. I don't know what this show's about. A friend of mine likes it. I will eventually watch it, but I feel it would fit the vibe. Final recommendations are going to be just for ones that take place in an interesting world. So Made in Abyss immediately comes to mind. This is about a little orphan girl, and she makes friends with a robot cyborg who may or may not be from deeper levels into what's a giant hole of the abyss. There are different levels, the way gravity works. Picture like when you go scuba diving, you go down. If you come up too fast, it'll make you sick. Same thing. You go too far down an abyss, it's harder to get up, and sometimes if you go down too far, it's impossible to come back up. Little orphan girl is searching for her missing mother who went down to one of the deeper layers. They have to get money by finding old relics and selling them off, but once the upper levels have been picked clean, they have to go to the deeper levels where there are monsters. And the idea of forcing little children to do this job, It brings up a lot of questions, many of them not good. Exploitation being one of them, and again, fits very well with the theme of One Piece. I think you would love this series if you love that element of One Piece. And the final is going to be Death Parade, which I don't want to give too much away. In the first episode, you basically learn that there are people here and they have to play games to decide if they are going to heaven or hell. That's not an exact answer, but you have to watch it to really appreciate it. That's all the recommendations I got. Let me know what you would recommend for fans of One Piece. What anime has the best mysteries, the best character, the best world, and the best themes that kind of can be related to One Piece? All right, I will talk to you later. Bye.